You recognize that tune, and you know it's time for Relics Radio. This is a family-friendly show, so the entire family can join us as we talk metal detecting and relic hunting. You can call into the show at 270-495-0315 or join in the chat and post any comments or questions you might have, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. You're listening to Relics Radio of Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. And you are live on Relics Radio on Thursday night. We're an hour earlier tonight. Our oldest granddaughter, Sydney, is graduating from high school tonight. And that ceremony starts at 7 o'clock, so we're going to have a hard break right there at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. But we will be with you for an hour here in Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. I am your host, Digging with 7.
And I'm your co-host, Tennessee Jeff.
What's going on tonight, Jeff?
Oh, not much. Of course, me and Mike were sitting there talking, and then, of course, we didn't hear the intro music come on. So we was like, and then I heard you start talking. I was like, well, here we go. So, but yeah, I didn't hear the intro music. So we've got it's people coming in the chat, so here we go. So we're ready for it.
That's good. So, that's good. I kind of wondered tonight because, people kind of get in a routine and everything, but we put on our promo stuff, and I think those promos are good because we can let everybody know who's going to be on and, what time and if there is any change or anything. And I want to apologize to start with. The other night, if you were listening to History Seekers, they were having a problem with an update, and Heath contacted me and wanted to know if I could engineer from here, and I told him, yeah, I could. And I got everything up and running, and everything was working except Skype. Skype dropped out somewhere. They were still on, but I couldn't hear them. And I don't know if that was on their end or on our end, but I apologize for that because I know how much that those guys wanted to do a show because they've had some technical problems over the past 2 or 3 weeks, but they'll get all that worked out. So just hang in there, and the History Seekers, I guarantee you'll be back next Tuesday night. We've got a great...
Oh, yeah, bigger than ever.
Yeah, bigger than ever. Wide pride.
Wide pride.
Wide pride. But we've got a great guest.
So what about our good guest? Yep, go ahead.
We got a great guest tonight. You know him on YouTube as M.A. Lyman 24. His name is Mike Lyman. I believe that he's out of Connecticut. Am I right about that, Mike?
Yes, you are, sir, 7.
What part of Connecticut?
Central Connecticut, right in East Hampton.
Man, Jeff, he's sitting right in the living room of all that history.
He is. I'm sitting there drilling at the mouth, just finding out where he lived at. I mean, we were talking earlier before the show started, and I was like, Connecticut. I was like, you have a house for rent somewhere or something? So, yeah, that would be nice.
No, but I do live right on Lake Poketipog. It's one of the oldest lakes in Connecticut. It's the biggest natural lake in Connecticut.
Man, well, hey, we can go fishing too. I mean, that's even better.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, put the houseboat on a trailer and take it up there and just spend the whole week with it there.
Yeah, we can do that.
No, we can't either.
I was going to say we can pull it with something. I mean, that's awful big boat to be pulling up all the way up there. So.
It is.
Hey, I have a quick question for you guys. I have the stream going on my PC now, but I can't see the chat, or I can't find out where to open the chat.
Okay, go to episodes. Are you on Relics Radio?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go to episodes. There'll be a little bar there that says episodes. Click on that, and then click on the top episode there that says live. And then it'll have a comment section, and you'll be able to get in that. Some people have a problem with that.
I just had an extra problem getting into it. Of course, I mean,
well, I'm in.
But I clicked on it. Okay, you there, Mike?
Yep. What it is, down at the bottom of your screen, there's a little gray toolbar with the with all your pause and forward and backwards. It's a little chat.
Oh yeah, yep, that's it.
Yep. Chat bubble pops right up.
Yeah. Well, good. You're in, and you're able to see everybody that's coming in. And Woody Jones said early tonight, yes, we are, Woody. I've got a graduation. Our oldest granddaughter is graduating, and so we're going to run just 1 hour tonight. And, we're running an hour early. We'll be back at our regular time, 8 o'clock Eastern next week. Hey, Mike, you live up there in Connecticut, right in the hotbed of all that history and everything. What different kinds of hunting do you do?
I do all kinds. When I first started, I just wanted to learn my machine, so I started at a big school field where I went to school when it first opened in the 70s. And luckily, no one has ever hunted there. And I learned my machine well. I found over 4,000 coins. And the best part is dead center between the Connecticut River and the lake. And I know, when the settlers first came, they used to, stop in the Connecticut River, beeline it for the lake. And in that field, you're not going to believe it, I actually found a King William III copper halfpenny dated 1700.
Now that's my kind of school right there. I don't.
That is.
Did you?
I mean, could you imagine?
Did you ever hunt schoolyards, Jeff?
No, I never did. And then, of course, if I had a schoolyard like that, buddy, they would have to kick me out during recess because I would be there right in the middle of it.
I would.
Hey, that schoolyard was very kind to me. I found several rings there, 7 pieces of gold, and luckily I found a class ring and a wedding band I was able to return to the people. That there was the best part.
Oh, that's sweet. I've never.
Yeah, that's good.
I have found a lot of rings. I used to hunt schools years ago, and old churchyards and things like that. And I wanted older history, and our schoolyards and everything doesn't have that older history. But Dennis said that I dropped that coin. You see what you got started, Jeff? Hey, Mike, that's the way they do.
I see that.
That's the way they do me. I'm the old man in the crowd. Sure am. I'm the old man. But I used to hunt schools, and I always thought that it'd be great to find a class ring or a wedding ring with some kind of identification and be able to return that, or even a World War II dog tag or something to return to the family or the soldier, if he had been alive. But I never had that pleasure. Tell us about that return.
Well, the first one, it was neat because I had trouble finding the girl, so I called Channel 3 News, and they agreed to do a story on it. They aired it. Her husband saw it, and she came home, couldn't believe it. She called the Channel 3, and they said, yup. And so I met her like 3 days later on the news and gave it back to her. So, and come to find out, she lost it the year she graduated, and it was in the ground for 14 years until I found it. And then I had it back to her within 5 days after I found it.
That is great.
Good deal.
That is great.
Luckily, she was in town. I was able to head to the library. I pulled a yearbook for that year. I found the 2 girls named Nicole, and afterwards I found out, I did finally see her name engraved on the inside. She also had it embraced on the outside. But then I found out which one it was, and luckily I got it back to her. It was so cool.
Jeff Ford said you need to turn your volume up just a little bit. I think they're having a little bit of trouble hearing you.
So that was pretty much my first year. And then my second year, I found an old farm in Marlboro, next town over, that the first settlers settled in town, and just made my year last year. I was able to pull some awesome relics as well as coins, and made it into the American Digger magazine, I think 7 out of the last 8 issues. And luckily I made the cover of it back in November. It was pretty cool.
Well, that is great.
Man, that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm turning up the volume on the board here. So, Jeff, you may be blowing people away, but Mike, if you can turn your volume up or get closer to your microphone on your handset there or something other, some of them are having a little bit of trouble hearing you.
Absolutely. Is it any better?
Yeah, that's a whole lot better right there. I can turn this. No. I can turn this back down now because you were bumping in the red.
How's that sound plug, Master?
What kind of detector do you use? What's your go-to detector?
I'll tell you, it took me so long to choose one. Well, not really. It took me about a month after watching YouTube videos. But my first one I bought was the Garrett AT Pro. I think it's one of the best machines out there for a beginner to learn, to get into the hobby. It's it talks to you, real soon. You get to learn it fast. You know what numbers are and what to look for, and it was wonderful to me. I think you use the same one, don't you, 7?
Yeah, I've actually got 2 AT Pros. I've had one since they came out and use it, and then Jeff has got one. And a good friend of ours was selling one that they had as a backup, and it was just like brand new. And he reached out to me, wanted to know if I wanted it, and I told him, yeah. I mean, it's a great detector. There's no doubt about it. I've probably found more with it than you have too, haven't you, Jeff?
I sure have. I mean, I've found 95% of my relics with the AT Pro. And, of course, I've got the Knox now, but, I mean, finding and locating like a home site, I still want to use my AT Pro. I mean, it's just, I know that machine, like Lori said earlier, I've had mine since they first come out. And it's unbelievable how well you can learn a machine if you use it that long. And every little beep and every little peck that it gives out. So, I mean, it's going to take a while for me to learn another machine that well.
Right. And that there was my first year. In the second year, I liked it so much, I decided to get the AT Gold with the little 5x8 coil. And, boy, what a machine that was for me last year as well.
Do you like it? You like the Gold?
I love it. For me, I did my cousin's house, the 1880s house, with the AT Pro with a Nell big coil on it, 17 by 18, and then I put the stock 8.5 by 11 on it, and then I went back with the AT Gold, and I found an Indian head penny, a V-nickel, I found that awesome Seahorse brass bottle opener, and a tie clip with a ship's wheel and an anchor from 1938 that was gold and connected. It said CGS on it, East Hampton. I don't know if that's the Coast Guard school or station in East Hampton, New York. It was weird because I found it in East Hampton, Connecticut.
Yeah. How many years did you use the AT Pro?
I used it all of 2016 and probably half of 2017.
Yeah. And the reason that I asked, and Jeff will back me up on this, the AT Pro is 15 kilohertz and the AT Gold is 18 kilohertz. And there's a difference in the sound of the signals, isn't there, Jeff?
There is. I mean, that's one reason I couldn't get used to the Gold. I mean, a good friend of mine, he bought the Gold after I bought the AT Pro. Well, as soon as it come out, and I was using it, and I just didn't like the sound of it for some reason, and I didn't use it a lot, so I can't say if it's a good machine or a bad machine. I can't say. I don't have enough hours on it.
I thought the exact same thing when I first started using it. I thought it was loud and obnoxious, and I didn't know what it was saying to me. But then when I started looking at the numbers were exactly the same, and it talked to me, I think, a little louder than the AT Pro did. So I don't know. It just didn't really be able to pick things out for me.
Jordan Anderson, he was asking, what mode do you use on the AT Gold?
I use just about the same on the Pro, the Gold, and my AT Max now. I use Zero, Pro Zero, and I usually run it around between 24 to 32, for the iron discrimination. But I run it wide open if I can, and turn down the sensitivity when I have to.
Well, now me and Jeff, we run ours on Pro Zero and Iron Disc on Zero, where we hear absolutely everything. Sensitivity always turned up. But Brandon Stewart told us the other night, last week on the show, that he's running his in what is that other mode other than Pro Zero?
It's standard mode.
Yeah.
And then of course he's running standard mode, and of course, I can't say I've ever really run mine in standard mode too learn how it works. So, but he said he's doing real well with it.
You can't argue with,
and it's,
you can't argue with success.
No.
Exactly.
So
your AT Max now is even working. I went to that farm I did all last year with that Pro and the Gold, and I took the Max there for the first time 2 weeks ago, and in a half an hour I pulled 4 buttons and I don't know if it's 1800s or someone said maybe even late 1700s Sterling ring.
So you've got the AT Max now. So you're a Garrett man all the way.
It's been so good to me. I don't want to try and learn anything else because I just love the way it talks to me. I don't want to change.
It is a big difference in between Garrett and Monlab with how the machine talks to you. And I did see that silver ring you found. That was a beautiful ring with the Max. So,
yeah.
And you were doing good with the Max. So I mean, hey,
yeah, I can't complain.
It speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Barb said she doesn't like hunting in standard mode. I've hunted in standard mode, and I do better in pro, or I think that I do. But what was it Brandon was telling us was the advantage of hunting in standard last week, Jeff?
I would have to go back. Of course,
if something about
rattle my brain,
the signals had more length on them or something. They weren't as quick.
Yeah, I mean, they do have more. I mean, of course, if you're hunting in standard mode, you hear it go ding, 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 and then, of course, that's pretty much the way it sounds. But, I mean, I guess that's a longer tone. But, I mean, I seen the word pro, and I went to the pro. So, I mean, that's where I started out with mine.
Yeah.
Discrimination. That's the difference in between pro and all metal.
Oh, you think so? Well,
yeah. I seen Barb posted on there.
Yeah, I didn't know if she was asking how he run his discrimination. I think you said, Mike, that you were up around 22 or 24.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a lot of people. I know Nugget Noggin runs his around 22, somewhere around in there. Now, me and Jeff don't. We run ours wide open, and Becky said she runs hers wide open. I want to hear. Mm-hmm. I want to hear everything, and that is what I love about the AT Pro running it wide open and hunting for a house site. Because the very minute you get into that debris field, you can sure tell it. You know.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. So basically, you just stick with the Garretts, and that is a great machine. I mean, there's no doubt about it. All 3 of those are. Have you still got all 3 of the machines, or do you trade up, or what?
Well, I ended up doing somebody had, I forgot what he had, but he wanted to upgrade his machine. I ended up selling him my AT Pro so I could purchase the AT Max. So I ended up doing that, and I kept my AT Gold and my Garrett Carrot, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, with the Max finding what it did, I'm going to be back at that farm all again this year, hoping to pull some more cool relics and some more, save some more history.
Me and Jeff hunted a spot with, who was that had the AT Max at the construction site, Jeff?
Oh, that was one of the Hollis brothers. I believe that was either Greg or Jeff, and then it was Greg Hollis that had that. And, of course, he seemed... I mean, they're doing good with them. I mean, of course, I keep up with their little site they've got going on, and they seem to be doing good. So, I mean, the AT Max. I mean, I'd like to run one just for a little bit to see how it works out. So, and then
it was a little loud at first, but it just takes a little to get used to it,
It was a little bit what?
Loud. I don't know if it's just oversensitive. I end up turning my sensitivity down a little bit, and it quieted down the sharpness of the signals, but it made them nice, crisp, clean, and loud.
I'll tell you a little trick that I learned on AT Pro, and that is that when you ground balance, if you just hold down your ground balance button and pump your coil, then when you let go of it, well, then you're ground balanced at, say, 82, 83, whatever. Normally that's about where mine ground balance is here where we live. But then you can push that ground balance button again and then go up above it, and you can actually manually click it up a few steps. And I've been doing that, And mine's getting a little bit better depth by doing that. And I'd never tried that. I didn't know if you'd ever done that or not.
I tried it. Now, when you did it, did you notice any like background or a low hum when you did it, or?
No, no, I didn't notice any hum.
Maybe I was just changing the threshold down to like a -1 or up to a +1, or maybe 2 or 3 both ways, and I was always getting like a little low hum when I did that.
It's a little bit more chattier. There's no doubt about that, but you're getting more signals.
Yeah. We ground balance about an 88, 90 up here most of the time.
Hey guys,
that's pretty.
Yeah, we're coming up on a hard break. Let's run this commercial, and we'll be right back. If you want to keep up with what's going on in the metal detecting world, then you need to be a subscriber to American Digger magazine. Butch and Anita Holcomb are the publishers of the magazine and have won awards for 3 straight years for being the best digger magazine on the market. American Digger magazine is available in both print and digital formats, so no matter where you live in the world, you can enjoy the latest happenings in the hobby. You can get in touch with American Digger magazine by going to americandigger.com or give them a call at 770-362-8671 and be sure and tell them that you heard it on Relics Radio. Great magazine, and if you pick up American Digger, as Mike said, M.A. Lyman 24 will be in that magazine 7 of the last 8 issues, I believe you said, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Jeff, of course, I told everybody to start with, we're only going to run an hour show tonight, but if you want to, go ahead and give out our call-in number, and if anybody has any questions for Mike, they can call in.
Alrighty. It's 270-495-0315. So,
and I'm sure
there you go. I'll put it in the comment section, and of course the chat's full tonight, so surely somebody's got a question. I've got a question here that let's see, Mike, how long you been hunting, buddy?
I just started in 2016, so probably like 2.5 years now.
2016. Well, I mean that's pretty new hunter, and you've done well for new hunters. So I mean that's and what so far, what if you have one, what has been your best find?
Oh, geez. Well, now that you said that, probably that ring I just found, that silver ring. I'm trying to see if I can find anybody who has information on it to see if I can date it. But
yeah.
Well, you know, the rings were fine, were cool in the returns and stuff. But for history, I'd love to know the story behind that ring.
Yeah, I mean that was a beautiful ring. So,
and that's what
that's
what we're all in it for, isn't it? Is the history. I mean, that's what the appeal is to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Another question that I had, and I'll let you talk about it a little bit, because me and Jeff, before we started the podcast, we flirted around with the idea of doing some live YouTube, and I actually got all the equipment that we would need to do that, and then kind of at the last minute, we decided to go with podcast instead of live YouTube. But you do a lot of live YouTube, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about your experience with that. You like it?
Yeah, actually, it was funny. That wedding ring return I did back in September, or I think it was the end of September there, I went live for the first time on YouTube with my phone. I didn't know what I was doing. I was holding it the wrong way. I was supposed to meet the guy there and give it back to him, but for some reason there was 2,000 kids there doing some Panther Fest thing, so we ended up finally meeting, and I give it back to him, and then I don't know, it was a neat feeling being able to see people in the chat and talk to them live instead of just putting something in the comments and waiting for a response to come back, and then it just took off. I started sending out emails to people and saying, hey, would you mind calling me on my phone? I'll put you on speakerphone and we'll go live, and people can call, type in the chat and ask your questions. And so I ran, well, somebody else ran a test first. He's in the chat tonight, Hoarder, and it was funny because he wanted to check it out.
See that.
So he tried it out too, and he wanted, 10-minute test. It turned in over 2 hours.
I know it.
I tried it, and he was supposed to call me the following week to do it, and he ended up calling me, that day, and it happened right then and there, and then I ended up calling a bunch of other people. Had about 12 or 15 guests on now.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be on with Hoarder on one of his, and I really enjoyed it. It's just it's a different format, but like you say, there's a lot of interaction. You're able to, the people are able to interact with you while you're live, just like this podcast. Only thing is that they can see you. But now, me and Jeff, we have faces for radio.
I hear you, brother.
That's right.
And Hoarder gives you a compliment. He said that you are the godfather of live streaming.
What? Come on, Jason. Are you serious? Jason, I think Jason's live streams were so much fun. He really put a lot of work and effort into them. The games were a blast. His guests were a blast. And I know he was on one of your shows, too, I think, wasn't he? I thought I watched that one.
Yeah, he was. He was on one of our podcasts. The only thing,
actually,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just miss his live streams. I haven't seen one, I think, since the holidays or something. It's just cool. Wait, did he do the live stream with the Lemon Challenge? I can't remember now, but I do miss him. But Liz is doing them. I think Liz is live right now with her live stream. But a lot of people taking off and are doing them now. It's great.
Yeah, the only thing that I can say about Jason, the Hoarder, he's not animated enough.
You don't think so?
No, I said that in sarcasm. I tell you what, if you were to tie his hands behind him and hold his head still, he couldn't say suey if the hogs were after him. He's a great guy, though, I tell you. I think
he has a great channel. I love watching his videos. They're so entertaining, and the stuff he finds. It seems like this year everyone is having an awesome year. I mean, Hoarder, Dog is my co-pirate. I mean, everyone around the world even. It's just seems like everyone's pulling amazing stuff this year. I even pulled a flying eagle once, and I had no idea. That coin was never even in my mind to find, and I found it this year. It's just unbelievable this year.
Yeah.
Man.
I've only found...
Me and Barb's still waiting on that CS plate, so
yeah.
We said that was our New Year's resolution. We were going to find one at DIV, but that didn't happen, so, I mean, that's what we're still waiting on. Good luck, Barb. I
found one flying eagle, and it was on a Civil War camp. That's the only one that I found, but I did, me and Jeff was hunting, and I did find a first-year Indian, fatty, and those are hard to find, too. I've had a good year on Indians. I'll just tell you, over the past year, in last week, I hunted a couple of sites, and I think I found 2 or 3 more Indians, and that's got me up to about 26. So I don't know. I'm on an Indian streak right now.
26 for the year, man. That's pretty good.
Well, I haven't
found a one yet.
That's not since January. That would be probably over the last 12 months. I don't know exactly. I don't count those, but I've got them laid out. And the other ones I put in the museum with other Civil War relics and stuff like that. So I just had some on one of my display cases on top. I just started putting my Indians up there. And Barb said, "Loy, you suck." She wants.
She's done.
Yeah, she wants those Indians. But anyway, I put it up there, and I thought I'd count, and I had 26. And I sent Jeff a picture, and he told me, he said, "You're gonna have to take that Equinox away from me." Of course, that's what me and Jeff. That's what we're using now, and loving it. I tell you.
Awesome, yeah. A lot of people are. My buddy Jim in MD Melbourne down in Australia just got his for the first time. He went to a park he thought was hunted out for the last 2 years. He just pulled 7 silvers out with the Equinox 800. I can't believe it.
Man.
Well, I hit a site that I had hunted with my CTX and AT Pro, and actually quit the site because it dried up. I just wasn't finding anything. And then after I got the Nox, or Equinox, Debbie don't like for us to say Nox, but I'll say it anyway. But after I got the Equinox, I thought about this site, and I went back, and in 2 days I pulled over 40 relics off of that.
Oh
now,
my gosh!
Nothing great. I did find 2 Indians. I found about 8 wheats. I found probably 15 or 20 head stamps. I found a couple of suspender clips and a couple of flat buttons, and just run-of-the-mill relics like we find. But those were things that those other machines that I passed up. I didn't hear them.
Right. I don't know if the machines are just getting better and better as the years go on, or what. But it's crazy.
I think it's a speed, don't you, Jeff?
Yeah, I believe it is too. I mean, it is a speed. Of course, a lot of the places we hunt is nail infested. I mean, if you was to dig a say a foot by foot square hole, you would pull at least 100 nails out of that one hole.
Yeah,
and then I mean that's just the way a lot of our places are, and that's why we wanted to go to new technology and try it out. So. But I mean, we have done great with the AT Pros, but I mean, it's just new technology, and it's a little bit faster, and I mean, it is what it is. So,
yeah.
But since I've got mine, I've been dying to get out and hunt, and of course, it turned hot here, and then of course, I've got a 10-month-old baby, and then of course, I've been babysitting him while my wife's at work. So, I mean, I hadn't been out as much as I'd really love to. So. I'm watching Lloyd. I'm watching Lloyd. He's posting all these pictures. He'll text me this, text me that. Like, look what I found today, and it'll be like Indian heads, toe taps, flat buttons, and I'm sitting there. Here, take this bottle, buddy. I'm sitting here patting him on the back. So.
I have to ask you guys a question. How many hours a week do you guys hunt, do you think?
Well, not a whole lot in the summertime. Now, we'll put in a lot of time in the wintertime. When we, before their baby came along, we would hunt probably 2 or 3 days, wouldn't we, Jeff, a week?
Oh, yeah, we would. And them 2 or 3 days, we would hunt several hours in them days. And even after that, we couldn't hunt together, but we would hunt like the rest of the week by ourselves. So, I mean, we had a lot of hunting time, and then of course, I mean, 10-month-old, he kind of slows you down your digging time. So
yeah,
that's why I found so many items is because I hunt like 4 days a week, probably anywhere from 15 to 24 hours a week. So it's probably the time that I put in that I'm able to find so much stuff.
Well, you got to keep.
Oh yeah, and see, that's where I had a job at a printing company. And we were on something they call full crew, and I would work 3 days a week, 1 week, and 4 days the next week. And all right, the rest of the week off, I would hunt pretty much all day long, and I found tons of stuff doing that. Now, you've got to put your footwork in. You've got to be out there if you're going to find something. So, I mean, it is the more time you're out there, the more you're going to find. You're not going to find anything on the couch.
No, I noticed Nick Haas put a question in on the chat, wanting to know if we started at 6 o'clock Central Time. Normally, we start at 7. We started at 6 tonight, and we're only going to have an hour show because our oldest granddaughter's graduating high school tonight. So this is a one-time deal. We'll be back at 7 o'clock Central and 8 o'clock Eastern Time next week. Let's change gears for just a minute because half the show's already gone. You do some gold panning too, don't you, Mike?
Yes, a little bit.
Tell us about that.
Well, in the wintertime, you can't do anything else here much besides, scope out and do some research and stuff. So every once in a while, I'll get on the website and purchase a bag of pay dirt and have it shipped to my house, and I'll sit here and do some panning. It's a lot of fun. It passes the time, and it's pretty cool when you start picking the big pickers out of the pan.
Have you been successful at that?
Yeah. It all depends on what you're looking for. I bought a 15-pound bag from roaringcampgold.com for I think $65. It took me like a month to pan it, but I think I got 1.5 grams of gold out of it. And it wasn't too bad. And now I just purchased some bags from tomsgolddirt.com, and think they were like $25. I think $1 went to Wounded Warriors or something like that, and I just pulled 0.3 grams out of that. So it's not too bad, you know. You spend $20 for a night's worth of fun, and you get some gold to save, you know.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean
So you're buying a bag of dirt for $20, and you're getting 0.3 grams of gold out of that. What is the value of the gold? What did it? Did you earn your money back on that?
Oh no, it's only like $12 or something like that.
Okay.
Probably, I think it comes out to. And then the other one was 1.5 grams, so that was up to. I think that was more like. I think that they're paid for itself, that 15-pound bag. It was a lot of work, but I got my money back.
Yeah. Well, I've done a little bit of it. Not enough to say that I'm experienced, and you've done a little bit too, haven't you, Jeff?
I have, but I mean, like you said, I mean, I haven't done enough to say I'm experienced at it now. I bought a bag. It was several years ago. I can't remember who it was from, but I mean, you paid for the gold that was in there. They had several different bags. Well, you'll find this, and of course the kids loved it to death. I was like, well, of course we got out panning a little bit with it, and then they was like, oh, there's a piece of gold, and then of course we done that, but they loved it. And then I seen let's see, it was Jordan. What's the best pay dirt you found so far? I guess dealer wise.
Probably for the money, it's been Tom'sGoldDirt.com. He also taught me something new this year. He sends you a couple of lead like birdshot balls to put in your gold pan. And he says if those things are in there at the end of the panning, your gold's in there too. But if they're gone, your gold is probably gone as well.
So you want to pan into?
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, you want to pan into something so you're catching it.
Yeah, absolutely. I always do a big Tupperware container.
Yeah, I've got that's what I used. I used that my wife puts clothes and things in the winter or something other. You know, when she puts them up, and used one of those and just filled it up with water and put my pan down in it and work it. Have you ever done any live stream panning in your area?
No, not yet. We do have a nice river down here that the fishermen have been fishing in for hundreds of years. I mean, it was always packed on opening day. And I think I'm going to be metal detecting it first before I do any gold panning. I just haven't had time to do that. It's a little high right now. I'm waiting for the water to go down a little bit, but I can't wait to get started in there just to see what I can find.
Give us some tips if you're going to go out and gold pan in a stream. What are you looking for?
Just from what I've seen on certain YouTube videos, it tells you to look at certain bends of the river, try to do the inside banks, look for certain types of colors in the sand, different areas under big rocks, stuff like that.
And Quarter Hoarder said I had a nice pun. I said live streaming. I didn't mean for that to come out that way, but I guess it did.
I didn't even catch that.
I didn't either.
No, I didn't either.
No, I sure didn't. But from what I hear, you want to find where the black sand is where the gold's going to be, because black sand's heavier than the other, right?
I see. Okay, yep. I really haven't done too much river panning at all. I've only done just a pay dirt that I have sent to my house, and it's just been fun and to be able to do. But it's just I only do that on a rainy day now. That way, the weather's beautiful and I can get out and hunt now.
Yeah, it would be. And y'all have long winters up there, don't you?
Usually, I'll tell you what, last year we didn't. I was able to hunt to the end of January. I was only shut off for probably February and half of March. But this year, I was shut out at the end of November. I wasn't able to go out till, I would think, one day at the end of February. Then I had to wait another month, and I didn't get out to the last day of March or something like that this year.
Man.
Well, see,
yeah, awful.
That's our best times. I mean.
Yeah, we're exactly opposite, aren't we, Jeff?
Yeah. What we need to start doing is hunting down here during the winter and then going up there during the summer, because it's hot here during the summer, and of course the hay fields and everything, we're losing all of our sights. So we need to start going back and forth.
7, you need to listen to Jeff and bring that houseboat up here, park it on the lake for a month in the summertime, and I have a great farm I can take you
to. Well, there you go.
I tell you what. Go ahead.
Can we get that in the Gulf somehow, and then just cruise around, and then go down the tip of Florida and cruise up, and then?
Well, I'm going to tell you something, and you're not going to believe me, but this is the absolute truth. We had another houseboat. We had a smaller houseboat, and sold it to my brother-in-law, and he sold it this year. And there was an older gentleman that bought it, older than me, if you can believe that. He was in his 70s, but I tell you what he's going to do. He's going to put that boat in the Cumberland River, and then he's going to go through all the locks, and he's going to get in the Mississippi River, and he's taking that all the way to the Gulf.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. But it is doable. I mean, you can do that. I can't imagine how long that it would take to do all of that, but and expensive too, I guess.
Oh yeah, I had a buddy. It was a few of them got together, and they done a cruiser that way. They didn't do a houseboat, but it was just a cruiser, and they would cruise from actually Old Hickory Lake here in my town, and then they went all the way around and went to the Gulf, and then I can't remember how long he said it took them, but it took them a while. So I mean, it was a great trip.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're coming up on
an adventure.
On another hard break, and we'll be right back. If your passion is metal detecting, then you know how much your success is based on the equipment you use. Let my buddy Tim Henderson of Murray Branch Outdoors in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, help you with that. Tim is an authorized dealer of Garrett, XP Deus, Tesoro, and Macro detectors and supplies, and he is now an authorized dealer for MineLab. So, if you're looking to get your hands on the new Equinox 600 or 800, then Tim is your guy. Murray Branch Outdoors is not only competitive in their prices, but the service after the sale is second to none. Tim not only sells detectors, he uses it, and so he can answer any questions you might have. Murray Branch Outdoors also deals in used detectors, and he'll take your old detector in on trade when you decide to upgrade. So give Tim of Murray Branch Outdoors a call at 615-948-4611, and be sure and tell him Relics Radio sent you.
Oh yeah.
And and Ken said that Tim is a great guy, and he is a great guy. And I talked to him yesterday or day before, and he has both the 600 and the 800 Equinox in stock. If you want to call him and check on that. Hey, Mike, what have you got planned for the rest of the year? Any big plans?
Like I said, the farm I'm doing in Marlboro is owned by 3 different owners now. It used to be one huge place, and luckily I got permission from all 3 of them, and this year I got permission to bring somebody with me. But it looks like from what I pulled, 2 weeks ago with the Max for the first time, I think I'm going to be back there most of the year again, and just to see what I missed. As well as doing door knockings, me and Ricky stopped at a 1780s place today and checked it out. Found a few old things, but nothing too much to report. But we'll still do some door knockings, and then when I can't get one, we can always fall back to the farm, which is great.
Oh yeah, where you found the silver ring, where the tractor was sitting in the middle of the field. Now I want to hunt around that tractor. That seems to be a good place.
That's where I found the four rings. That there was the top of the knoll where the 1700s house sat that burnt down in the 1940s. And now they moved the 1800s house closer to where the highway is now, or the main road is now for them. But that's where I found most of the relics, was around there in the barn. I mean, things I wouldn't even imagine. You found your usual ox knobs, ox shoes. But I found a thing they called a matchbox that was made in Dover, New Hampshire, that held wooden matches. I had no idea I'd find one of them. Found a Dick Tracy second-year Service Patrol member badge. Then I found Croto bells there too, and But the coins there was amazing. My earliest one was a 1737 King George II. Then when it was that beautiful 1838 seated 1 dime, that was in EF condition. It's just beautiful. And then 2 weeks later, I pulled an 1887 seated dime. And then I found a Stand-in Liberty quarter, Buffalo nickels. It's just all the different years. I couldn't believe it, from 2000 all the way back to the 1700s for coins. It's crazy.
Well, me and Jeff have found out that, whenever you find a good site that, had, here in our area, it would have Native Americans would have lived there. And then you would have had colonial settlers that lived there, and then you would have had Civil War, and then you'd have had turn of the century. I mean, a good house spot is a good house spot.
Yeah, actually, this one sits right between Lake Poketipog and Lake Terramongus, which were the 2 big Indian lakes that are in the state. And it's just it's one of the highest elevations in town, and it's just a beautiful piece of farmland that's all original.
Do you guys find any Native American artifacts?
My grandfather did over by Lake Terramongus. He found quite a few arrowheads way back in the 30s and 40s and stuff. I haven't yet because they don't really plow where I'm at. It's just lawn that's mowed and some woods and corral and garden area and stuff like that. I really don't have any like fields, like cornfields or something that they plow up where I can find that stuff there anyways.
Well, they don't plow stuff anymore. They no-till, don't they, Jeff?
Yeah, they do. And, I mean, that's hurt a lot of the Indian artifact hunters. I mean, it's just they do the no-till, and they don't plow anymore. And you get up a little north of here where they still raise a lot of tobacco, and then, of course, they plow every year. But, unfortunately, they plow the same fields every year. They don't just swap up fields. So, it'll open up new ground.
And Barb wanted to know what lake was that you mentioned, Mike?
Which lake?
Yeah.
It was Lake Poketipog, or Pocotopog, P-O-T-O-C-O-P-A-G-P-A-U-G, and Terramongus. I'm not sure how to spell that one.
I'm not even going to try to say either one of them.
I'm not either.
If you go on Google Maps, it's dead center of Connecticut. You can't miss them, just east of the Connecticut River.
Yeah.
Barb was trying to find a place to put her pirate ship.
Yeah, that's what she's trying to do. Arg, yeah. Get in there, Barb. One question that we always ask all of our guests is, what one thing that you should have found, but you haven't found it yet?
Oh, you're killing me with that one.
I know it.
Oh. What do you think it is? Let me ask you that.
Mine is a 2-center. I think I should have found a 2-center. I found all kind of reals and cap bust and large cents and Indians and flying eagle and trime. And I mean, I should have found a 2-center, but I've not found one yet. And I was just wondering what yours was.
Well, I'll tell you what. I found rosy dimes. I found seeded dimes. I found a barber quarter, but never found a barber dime, and I never found a mercury dime, if you can believe it.
Oh, man. So that,
for nickels, I found the war nickels, the pre-war nickels, the V nickels. The only one I haven't found for them yet is the shielded nickel. But the buffalo nickels I found, but I can't find it myself a mercury dime to save my life.
Hey guys, we got a caller
either a walking liberty or a standing liberty.
I got both of them. I found
a 1917 walking liberty last year.
Yeah, those are hard to find.
Calling?
Go ahead. I say we've got a caller in. Woody Jones is on the line. Have you got a question for Mike?
Yeah, I do, Roy. Jeff, how y'all guys doing? Mike, I was just wondering,
hello, Woody.
Is Connecticut pretty cool with metal detecting, or do you have to have like permits to hit parks or anything like that, or is that pretty good?
I'll tell you what. When I first started, the first thing I did was go to my town hall and talk to the town manager, and I asked him. I told him what I wanted to do. I wanted to save some history, and he goes, "Well, I'll tell you what. I let people go hunting on the town property, so I have to let you go metal detecting on it, and I don't have any problem with that." He goes, and he wished me the best of luck. He gave me a written letter, email that I printed out. I carry with me all the time. he copied it to the police chief, and they all know. So I'm allowed to hunt any school property or town property in town now. But I also do a lot of door knocks, too, in the private properties, which I do a lot of research and try and find out where the old sections of town were and pull up the assessor's map from that town. Tells you who owns the property, how old it is, and it's a great tool to use. But always ask for permission if you can. Get it in writing and bring it with you. But my part of town has been awful cool to me about all that stuff.
Right, yeah, that's the same. I live in a small town here in northwest North Carolina, and I went to town hall, and I said, hey, I just want to see if I could metal detect around some of your parks, and they're like, sure, go ahead. If anybody asks you, tell them you got permission from the town. I'm like, well, thanks, and everything was good. And I got another question. I just wondered if you ever found a New York button that Mr. Seven's looking for. If you found that one yet, because I know that's his white whale. I just wondered if he found that, and I'll let y'all go. Yeah, he's for the. Is it the Civil War Regiment New York button 7 that you're looking for?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
No,
yeah.
I haven't found any Civil War relics yet here in the state.
Oh, okay. Well, it's probably up there somewhere.
I'll try and look for it though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, great call, Woody. Thanks for calling.
Appreciate it.
Great call. Woody.
Thanks, guys. Catch y'all later.
Okay.
Hey, take care.
All right. See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Y'all didn't have any Civil War action up there, Mike, and if y'all get any Civil War stuff there, it would probably be bring home stuff, from soldiers and what have you. But they've been good.
I'll tell you what, Lloyd, I have to tell you about one YouTube channel called Tritons Treasures. He's from upper state New York.
I know that.
He got on a site last year where he found an RIR button. He thinks that he found, I think, over 30 cap bust 1 cents and half cents in beautiful shape, Indian artifacts, clay pipes, bone forks, two-prong forks, all kinds of stuff. He has one amazing site that he is on. You might want to give him a call one day and get him on your show. You
know what? I need to, and if you've ever watched him hunt, he's an archaeologist. He gets a signal, and he just sits down and goes to digging and sifting.
Oh, yeah.
And me and Jeff have done that a little bit, and you'd be surprised what you're going to find at some of those sites like that. But it's a lot of work. But
yep. I talk to Paul all the time. He's been down 36 inches in a 4-foot square area, filled it in, moved over 4 feet, and did it again.
Now that's dedication.
Big dedication. But boy, the history that he learned about that place is just amazing. The militia belt buckles he's finding. All kinds of stuff. He's just one amazing detectorist.
And Trenton Yoder said in his area that parks allow metal detecting but no digging. How does that work? It don't work for me, Trenton, I tell you. I don't believe in that rule. But now there's, and I tell you why that is a bunch of jahoos going out there and digging holes and leaving them open, leaving the trash. 1 or 2 people can ruin it for a lot of people, and that's why I don't hunt parks and schools and things. I've got permission in my county to do that, but I'd rather hunt the fields where I don't have to worry that much.
That's right. Like our construction site we was hunting that, was so productive. I went out there and there were several holes that was still uncovered, and then. You never know. Yeah, it's a construction site, but, workers walking through, they're may step in that hole sometime carrying a piece of rebar or something, and then they're going to twist an ankle. So you've got to make sure to cover your holes up.
Oh, yeah, big time. I had a great permission last year at a fairgrounds and found some really great stuff. And this year I went there, and the fence was up, and it had signs up, no metal detecting or treasure hunting. I have no idea why. I think I know why, because somebody was leaving some really bad holes. It just ruins it for everybody.
I'll almost guarantee you that's what the problem was. Sure would.
Yep.
Hey guys,
I told him too that definitely get yourself a pinpointer, but he would just cut a plug, grab the grass, and just shake all the dirt out of it till there's nothing left. Take his item and drop it on the top of the hole, and it was the worst thing I ever saw.
Yeah, I know it. A lot of people just don't have the etiquette that they ought to have and don't know how to cut a plug. and don't know how to work in a manicured environment like that, you know. I mean, you cut 3 sides and you actually hinge it back, and then find your target, and then you just hinge that plug back over it, smooth it over, and press it down. And, you know, if you're good at it, you never know that you were there. And I've done that in schoolyards, and, you know, like I say, I can hunt any of them here, but I never left trash or holes open. And I won't, and Jeff won't either. We won't even do that in a field, will we, Jeff? Or the woods?
No, we sure won't. No. We won't leave a hole open no matter what.
Quick question for both of you. How many holes do you guys think you have dug in your lifetime?
Goodness gracious. I've been hunting for over 30 years, and
I think my number's around 50,000 now in about 2.5 years, just from the amount of coins that I pulled out of the ground. I think I pulled over 11,000 coins out of the ground.
Man. That's a lot of digging right there. I have no idea. I would say that...
I have no idea.
I'd say that we dig close to... What would you say, Jeff? In a full day's hunt, we'll dig 100 holes, won't we?
Oh,
yeah, easily. Yeah. And then, I mean... Depending on where we're at, I mean, if we're at a virgin site or we're at a site that we've hunted several times, I mean, we're still digging them holes. So, I mean, I have no idea. A bunch.
And Jordan Anderson, he's piling on here too. He said, "Do Civil War foxholes count?" I haven't dug any of those, Jordan. I'll just tell you. Hey guys, we're 4 minutes out from closing the show, but before we go, Mike, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you on your YouTube channel and Facebook and all of that.
Sure. On Facebook, my name is the same as the chat here. I'll just say hi real quick. It's Michael A. Lyman on Facebook, or you can get a hold of me on YouTube at MA Lyman 24. I got a couple hundred videos on there of the farm that I've been doing for the last year and a half, and a couple of other door knock permissions, and all the items I found, and the returns are everything's posted. But Loy and Seven, Loy. And Jeff, I have to thank you for inviting me on this show. I had a ball tonight. It's been a lot of fun.
Well,
it was our honor, buddy.
It was, and I wish that we hadn't had a shortened show tonight because I've got a graduation to go to, and Chris Heimsoff was asking about that. But we're going to have you back on, and
awesome.
Have you come back and, hey, reach out to Paul for us and tell him that we would like to have him as a guest, Tritons Treasure. And if you talk with him, I've talked to him a few times, but we hadn't been in touch here lately. So
yeah, he emailed me today. I'll text him right after we get off the air.
Okay. Yeah, tell him to send me an email to just diggingwith7@gmail.com, and I'd love to book him because he is a dedicated hunter. And awesome. I'm going to go ahead and mute you guys. Enjoyed it tonight, and enjoyed having everybody in tonight. We're going to close the show out. As I say, I have a graduation to go to, but real quick, catch the other shows on Spreaker, Beyond Sight and Sound on Sunday night and Wednesday night with Josh at 8 p.m. Eastern. American Digger Relic Roundup Monday night at 9 o'clock with Butch Holcomb and the guys. All Metal Mode on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. History Seekers on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Hardcore Metal Detecting Thursday night and Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. And Relics Radio will be back on next week at 8 o'clock Eastern. So we're going to go ahead and close the show out, and you guys get out there and dig you some history. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Relics Radio. We really do appreciate it. Be sure and join us live each Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern here on Spreaker. Or you can catch the archive show at Relics Radio on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or iTunes. Please take a minute and hit the like button and be sure and follow us so that you'll get notifications of all of our upcoming broadcasts. You can also find us on YouTube at Digging with Seven or Tennessee Jeff, or you can check us out on our Relics Radio Facebook page. If you'd like to get in touch with us, then send an email to diggingwith7@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you'll join us next Thursday night, and until then, get out there and dig some history.